In old age, never share these 8 things with anyone, not even family. As we get older, we gain wisdom that comes with experience. We've seen more of life, understood its ups and downs, and learned what really matters. But there's something that's just as important as the lessons we've learned, and that's protecting what's personal to us. It becomes more vital than ever to guard our privacy, safeguard our well-being, and make sure that the things we hold dear remain ours and ours alone. In a world that's increasingly connected, where people are always talking and sharing, it's easy to forget that some things should never leave our lips, especially as we age. Growing older doesn't just mean having more birthdays. It means becoming more vulnerable to the risks that come with the passing years. The world can be a wonderful place, but it also has its fair share of people looking to take advantage of others. The sad reality is that those of us in our later years are often targeted, not just because of our wisdom, but because of the things we've worked hard to accumulate throughout our lives. It's a harsh truth, but one that we must face head-on. As we age, our lives often become more private. We may start to value our time more, wanting to spend it on things that bring us peace and joy, rather than giving it away or explaining ourselves. This is why what we choose to share and who we share it with becomes a matter of importance. There are things that should remain off-limits, no matter how close we are to the person on the other end of the conversation. It's not about being secretive or distrusting. It's about protecting ourselves, our peace of mind, and our legacy. Some things are simply too personal to share. Some things, when spoken aloud or written down, can lead to consequences we can't undo. From the details of our finances, to our health concerns, to our family dynamics, there are lines that shouldn't be crossed. And it's crucial, as we age, to understand that not everything needs to be shared. In fact, there are 8 things in particular that you should never, under any circumstances, share with anyone. In this video, we'll dive deep into each of these 8 things, why they're so important, how they can affect us, and the steps we can take to keep them private. By the end, you'll have a clearer understanding of why privacy is a powerful tool and how maintaining it can help you live the later years of your life with dignity, security, and a sense of empowerment. Let's talk about the 8 things you should never share in old age, and why keeping them to yourself is one of the wisest decisions you can make. Number 1. Personal financial information. As we get older, one of the most valuable things we have is our hard-earned savings. It's not just money. It's the foundation of our peace of mind, the security we've worked for, and the cushion that ensures we can live comfortably without worrying about the future. Whether it's savings for retirement, a pension, or assets we've accumulated over the years, our financial situation is something that should remain private. The truth is, once you share this information with the wrong person, there are consequences that can ripple through your life in ways you never imagined. Let's be clear. Revealing your financial details, from bank account numbers to the value of your assets or even how much you've saved for retirement, can put you at risk. And it's not just the big risks, like identity theft or fraud, though those are very real threats. Even people who might seem trustworthy, family members, close friends, or acquaintances, could inadvertently or even deliberately use that information against you. Financial manipulation, intentional or unintentional, can happen more easily when people know the amount of money you have. Imagine a scenario where a relative or someone you trust knows that you've been saving for years, or that you have a sizable retirement fund. That person might start making subtle suggestions about, helping out with certain expenses, or asking you to lend money for a family emergency that turns out to be less urgent than it first seemed. Worse still, others might believe they're entitled to some of your money, especially if they know how much you've accumulated. We've all heard the horror stories. Older individuals falling prey to scams, being coerced into handing over their money by people they once trusted, or having their financial security chipped away by well-meaning but overzealous family members. The emotional toll this takes on a person can be devastating. The loss of money is one thing, but the loss of trust, the feeling of being used or taken advantage of, is far worse. So how can you safeguard yourself? First, be careful about where and with whom you discuss your financial situation. Not everyone needs to know about your retirement plans or the balance in your savings account. Keep these details for yourself, and if you do need to talk to someone about managing your money, ensure they're a professional, like a financial advisor or an attorney, who is legally bound to act in your best interest. This way, you can still get the advice you need without exposing yourself to unnecessary risks. And always be cautious when asked for financial help. It's easy to feel pressured to help out when a loved one is in need. But remember that your hard-earned money is yours to protect. Trust your instincts and don't let guilt or a sense of obligation cloud your judgment. There's no harm in saying no, and doing so may save you much more than just money. It can preserve your peace of mind and your security. Number 2, health conditions and medical history. Health is something we all take for granted when we're young. We don't always think about how fragile our bodies can be as we get older. But age inevitably brings about changes in our physical and mental health. With these changes comes an increased need for medical attention, and often a deeper understanding of our bodies. While it's important to stay on top of your health, there's one thing that you should never share too openly as you age: the details of your health conditions and medical history. It's not that you should hide your health status from your doctor or trusted loved ones. Of course, that's important for proper care. But when it comes to openly discussing your health conditions with people who aren't involved in your medical care, that's where the danger lies. Your health status, especially in old age, can be a vulnerable topic. The more others know about your physical or mental challenges, the more they might try to use that information to manipulate you or take advantage of you. Whether it's a chronic illness, a recent diagnosis, or mental health struggles, it's crucial to keep these matters private to protect yourself from undue stress, unnecessary pity, or even exploitation. Think about it. When others know about your health challenges, whether it's a heart condition, a history of stroke, or a degenerative disease like arthritis or dementia, there's a risk that they may start to treat you differently. They might begin to view you as fragile or incapable, and while that might seem harmless at first, it can lead to a loss of your independence. People may start making decisions for you or pressuring you into doing things that may not be in your best interest. Worse, some people might use your health status as leverage, whether to control you, make financial demands, or manipulate you emotionally. Another danger is the emotional toll. Constantly discussing your health with others can make you feel more vulnerable and anxious. It can also make you feel isolated, as though your entire identity is defined by your illnesses or conditions. Instead, keep your health matters between yourself, your trusted medical professionals, and possibly a close family member or friend who is part of your support system. This way, you can ensure that you're getting the care and attention you need without opening yourself up to emotional exploitation or unnecessary pity. You don't owe anyone an explanation about your health unless it's necessary for your well-being or care. Be cautious with what you share. And set boundaries with people who may ask invasive questions. It's okay to politely tell someone that certain health details are personal and that you'd rather not discuss them in detail. Your health is yours alone to manage, and maintaining privacy about it can give you more control over how you're perceived and treated by others. In a world where health issues can sometimes be exploited, maintaining a level of privacy allows you to keep your dignity intact, ensuring that you're not defined by your medical condition, but by who you are as a person. Number 3, personal weaknesses or vulnerabilities. As we age, we gain an understanding of our strengths and weaknesses. It's natural to reflect on our past, acknowledge our mistakes, and perhaps even recognize areas where we could have done better. But sharing our personal weaknesses or vulnerabilities, especially as we get older, can create risks that are hard to reverse. These are aspects of our lives that, once exposed, can leave us open to manipulation or harm in ways we may not expect. It's easy to feel like, after years of building trust with family and friends, we can open up about what we consider our weak spots. We may think that sharing our emotional struggles or past mistakes will bring us closer to others, or that it will provide us with support. But here's the reality. Revealing too much about our vulnerabilities can, unfortunately, have unintended consequences. Once others know what we perceive as our weaknesses, it can be used against us. People may start to treat us differently, either with pity or worse, with condescension. And in some cases, those who know about our vulnerabilities may take advantage of them for their own gain. It's important to keep some things to yourself. This doesn't mean you should shut out the people you trust completely, but it does mean being selective about what you share. Emotional vulnerabilities, such as fears, past trauma, or struggles with anxiety or depression, should be kept within a close circle of trusted individuals, like a counselor, a therapist, or a family member who truly understands and respects your boundaries. Sharing your vulnerabilities too openly can set you up for situations where others feel entitled to fix you or tell you what to do, rather than allowing you the space to manage your own emotions and decisions. More importantly, keeping some of your weaknesses private helps preserve your sense of control and self-respect. When we reveal too much about our emotional struggles, we can start to feel defined by them, as if we are incapable or helpless. This can be especially dangerous in old age, when we may already feel a loss of independence in some areas of life. Protecting your emotional privacy is one way to maintain your dignity, allowing you to remain in control of how you want to present yourself to the world. So, while it's absolutely okay to seek help and support, consider doing so in a way that doesn't put your emotional well-being at risk. Be cautious about oversharing and understand that it's your right to maintain a boundary between your inner struggles and the outside world. After all, your peace of mind is just as important as your physical health, and sometimes keeping your vulnerabilities private is the best way to protect it. Number 4, family conflicts or personal grievances. Family is often a source of strength and comfort as we grow older, but it can also be a source of frustration, tension, and conflict. As families grow and evolve, so do the dynamics. Relationships change, old wounds can resurface, and misunderstandings may occur. It's natural for disagreements and challenges to arise, but one thing you should never do, especially in your later years, is share the details of your family conflicts or personal grievances with others. Why is this such a sensitive matter? First, family is one of the most intimate and emotionally charged aspects of our lives. When conflicts occur, whether it's a disagreement with a child, a fallout with a sibling, or tension with a spouse, it can feel like your world is being shaken. But the more you share these issues with outsiders, the more you open yourself up to potential judgment and interference. People who aren't involved in the situation often don't see the full picture, and their advice or opinions, however well-meaning, can create even more confusion and conflict. One of the greatest dangers of sharing family problems is that it can fuel the fire of division. When you speak openly about disagreements or ongoing issues with one member of your family to someone else, you run the risk of that information being misinterpreted or passed along to others. What starts as a private frustration with one person can quickly escalate into a family-wide issue, with your grievances becoming public knowledge. This can create misunderstandings, breed resentment, and, in the worst-case scenario, tear families apart. It's also worth considering the long-term impact that airing your family's dirty laundry can have on your relationships. Family bonds are delicate, and the more personal details you share about conflicts, the harder it becomes to repair the damage once things settle down. The person you confided in may be well-intentioned, but once the information is out there, it's no longer in your control. You risk alienating yourself from family members or creating divisions that may not have existed before. Worse, others may take sides, making it even more difficult to restore harmony. It's crucial to set boundaries when it comes to discussing family matters with people outside the family circle. If you're going through a tough time with a loved one, consider speaking with a trusted professional, such as a counselor or therapist, who can offer objective advice and a safe space for you to express your feelings. This ensures that your personal grievances are handled in a productive, neutral setting where your privacy is respected and your emotions are taken seriously. It's also important to think carefully about the long-term consequences of sharing family matters with people who aren't directly involved. If you need to vent or process your emotions, make sure you're doing so in a way that doesn't risk escalating the issue or hurting relationships that may already be fragile. In some cases, the best approach is to resolve conflicts privately, without involving others who might not fully understand the context or dynamics. Ultimately, your family's business is just that, your business. Keeping conflicts within the family when possible ensures that your relationships can evolve and heal without outside interference. And by protecting this privacy, you give yourself the space to work through issues on your terms, maintaining the dignity and respect of all involved. Number 5, estate plans or will details. One of the most important things you can do as you age is to ensure that your affairs are in order. Having a well-prepared estate plan and a properly written will give you peace of mind, knowing that your assets and belongings will be distributed according to your wishes. But while estate planning is essential, one mistake you should avoid is openly sharing the details of your will or financial plans with too many people. Talking too much about what you plan to leave behind can create unnecessary problems, even within families that seem close-knit. Money, property, and inheritance have a strange way of bringing out emotions and sometimes even greed in people. When others know exactly what they stand to receive or not receive, it can lead to jealousy, resentment, and disputes. In some cases, family members may start pressuring you to change your plans or question your decisions, making you feel guilty about how you've chosen to distribute your assets. It's also important to remember that circumstances can change. What you decide today might not be what you want in the future. If too many people are aware of your estate plans, you may feel locked into a decision you no longer agree with, simply because you don't want to disappoint or upset anyone. Worse still, if you decide to make changes, Some people might feel betrayed, leading to unnecessary conflicts or attempts to manipulate you into reversing your decisions. Another reason to keep your estate plans private is to protect yourself from potential exploitation. As unfortunate as it is, there are people, sometimes even close family members, who may try to take advantage of older individuals, especially if they know what they stand to inherit. In extreme cases, some seniors have been pressured or coerced into signing over property, money, or other assets before they were ready to do so. The best way to avoid this is to keep your plans private and only discuss them with trusted legal professionals who have your best interests at heart. So, what should you do instead? Work with a reputable estate planner or attorney to create a legally sound will and make sure your documents are safely stored. If necessary, designate a trusted executor, someone who will carry out your wishes without bias or personal interest. While it's okay to provide general guidance to your beneficiaries, there's no need to reveal exact details of your estate plan while you're still alive. Keeping this information private protects both your peace of mind and your relationships, ensuring that your final wishes are honored without unnecessary drama or conflict. Number 6. Personal relationships or romantic interests. Love and companionship don't have an expiration date. Just because we grow older doesn't mean we stop seeking connection, romance, or deep friendships. Whether you've been in a long-term relationship, have found love again later in life, or are simply enjoying your independence, your personal relationships are just that, personal. And one thing you should never feel obligated to do is share intimate details about your relationships or romantic life with others. As we age, people tend to develop opinions about how we should live our lives, especially when it comes to relationships. Family members, friends, and even acquaintances might feel entitled to comment on who you spend time with, whether or not you should remarry, or how you choose to navigate your love life. While some of this advice may come from a place of care, it can quickly turn into judgment, gossip, or unwelcome interference. For example, if you find love later in life, some people might assume that your partner is only interested in your financial stability rather than in you as a person. Others might start questioning your decisions, offering unsolicited advice, or even trying to discourage your relationship for their own reasons. And if you decide to keep things private or casual, some may criticize you for not settling down properly according to their expectations. There's also the risk of people using your personal relationships against you. If someone knows too much about your romantic life, whether it's struggles, disagreements, or private details, they may share that information with others, potentially causing embarrassment or tension. Relationships, especially later in life, should be about mutual happiness and companionship, not about what others think or expect. Another factor to consider is privacy within your relationships. Whether it's a romantic partner, a close friend, or even an old flame, trust is built on mutual respect. Sharing too much about your relationship dynamics, personal conversations, or intimate moments can break that trust, making it difficult to maintain a meaningful connection. Some things should remain between you and the person you share them with. No one else needs to be involved. So, what's the best approach? Keep your relationships private and only share details with those you genuinely trust. If someone asks too many personal questions, it's perfectly okay to set boundaries and let them know that certain aspects of your life are not open for discussion. Whether you're in love, enjoying casual companionship, or simply happy on your own, the most important thing is that you feel fulfilled, not that others approve of your choices. At the end of the day, your relationships are your business, And the only opinions that truly matter are yours and those of the person you share your life with. Protect your happiness, maintain your privacy, and never let outside influences dictate how you experience love and connection in your later years. Number 7. Political beliefs and personal opinions. As we age, we often become more attuned to our personal beliefs, whether they're political, social, or ideological. We've spent a lifetime forming opinions and perspectives, and naturally, we feel a strong sense of pride in the things we stand for. But when it comes to sharing these beliefs, especially political opinions, it's important to exercise caution, particularly as we get older. While it's natural to want to express our views, sharing them too freely can create unnecessary conflict, misunderstandings, or even alienation. The reality is that not everyone will agree with you, and in today's polarized world, expressing strong political views can sometimes lead to heated arguments or strained relationships. Political disagreements have a way of pushing people away or causing rifts between family members, friends, or acquaintances. And when you're older, relationships tend to be more precious. As you have fewer people in your circle, you might not want to risk losing friends or making family gatherings uncomfortable over a difference in opinion. It's also essential to recognize that sometimes people might use your political views against you. Whether it's in the context of family dynamics or within a broader social setting, revealing your strong opinions can lead to others making assumptions about you, or even using your beliefs as a way to manipulate or influence you. Imagine having a neighbor, a family member, or a friend who knows exactly where you stand on certain issues. That information might be used subtly to sway you into supporting certain causes, donating to specific groups, or even making decisions you wouldn't otherwise make. On top of that, political beliefs are often linked to strong emotions, which can make it harder to have rational, respectful conversations. It's all too easy for discussions to become arguments, with everyone trying to win rather than understand each other. And in some cases, people might feel the need to impose their own beliefs onto you, leading to pressure and even resentment. So, while it's perfectly fine to have and share your opinions in the right context, say in a setting where mutual respect is established, consider keeping your political beliefs private when it's unnecessary to share them. Doing so protects your relationships and helps maintain peace. There's no need to broadcast every thought or feeling you have on every issue. Instead, focus on meaningful personal connections and reserve your views for discussions with those who are open to respectful dialogue. Keeping your opinions to yourself doesn't mean you're hiding who you are. It simply means you're being strategic about where and when to express them, ensuring that your beliefs don't inadvertently cause division or conflict. Remember, your peace and your relationships are often worth more than winning a political debate. Number 8. Personal struggles or failures. We all face challenges in life. As we grow older, it's natural to have moments of self-doubt, regret, or reflection. We may think back on opportunities we missed, mistakes we made, or roads not taken. These struggles, whether they're financial, emotional, or personal, are part of being human. But while it's completely normal to feel vulnerable about our failures or hardships, these are aspects of life that should generally remain private, especially as we get older. When you share personal struggles, particularly those that involve failures or regrets, you risk being defined by them. Others might see you through the lens of your past mistakes, rather than appreciating the person you are now. It can also lead to others offering unsolicited advice or criticism, which, while it might be well-intentioned, can feel patronizing or hurtful. Furthermore, being open about personal struggles can sometimes make you a target for those who might want to exploit your vulnerabilities. For example, if you've experienced financial setbacks or personal difficulties, others might start to see you as an easy target for manipulation or assistance. Someone might offer to help, but with strings attached, whether it's taking advantage of you financially or emotionally. This can lead to feelings of guilt or obligation that only complicate your situation further. There's also the issue of emotional energy. Constantly discussing your failures, disappointments, or struggles can drain your mental and emotional resources, making you feel like you're stuck in a cycle of negativity. The more you talk about these struggles, the harder it may become to break free from them. It's one thing to seek support from a trusted therapist or a close friend, but it's another to continually focus on the negative aspects of your life in a way that prevents you from moving forward. Instead of focusing on past mistakes or struggles, try to shift your attention to the lessons you've learned and the progress you've made. Everyone has faced hardships, but that doesn't mean we should dwell on them indefinitely. Use your experiences to empower yourself and share your strengths and accomplishments with others instead of your failures. This doesn't mean you should hide your challenges entirely. If you need to talk about them with someone you trust, that's okay. But be selective about who you confide in and avoid constantly bringing up negative or self-defeating narratives. People are much more likely to be inspired by your resilience, your ability to move forward, and your strength in the face of adversity than by hearing about your struggles over and over again. Ultimately, your past doesn't define you. Your present and future do. By focusing on the positives, keeping personal struggles private, and protecting your emotional energy, you can maintain a sense of control and dignity. You are more than your failures, and by protecting that image, you ensure that others see you for the whole person you are, not just the mistakes you've made along the way. Conclusion: protecting your peace and preserving your dignity. As we reach the later stages of life, one of the most important gifts we can give ourselves is the gift of privacy. It's not about being secretive or distant, but about preserving our peace, protecting our dignity, and ensuring that the things that truly matter to us remain under our control. Every piece of information we choose to share, whether it's about our finances, health, relationships, or personal struggles, has the potential to shape how we're treated and how we perceive ourselves. The 8 things we've discussed are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the areas of life that require careful consideration. The goal isn't to isolate ourselves or live behind walls, but rather to establish boundaries that help us maintain a sense of agency and security in our own lives. It's about knowing when to speak up and when to stay silent, recognizing the power of discretion, and understanding that not everything needs to be shared for us to live a fulfilling and connected life. You've worked hard for everything you have, both materially and emotionally, and now it's time to protect those achievements. The people around you should respect your privacy, and in turn you should feel empowered to set the terms of your own life. Not everyone needs to know everything, and in fact, by keeping certain details to yourself, you preserve your autonomy and protect yourself from potential harm. Remember that it's okay to say no to sharing certain information, whether it's about your financial situation, your personal health struggles, or your family dynamics. Setting these boundaries is a form of self-respect, and it's also a way to safeguard your relationships. By keeping certain things private, you allow space for deeper, more meaningful conversations, where trust is built on respect and understanding, rather than judgment or manipulation. You have earned the right to live life on your own terms. As you age, protecting your privacy allows you to live with greater peace of mind, knowing that the things that are most important to you remain in your hands. So take charge of your life. Protect your information, your boundaries, and your well-being. After all, no one understands you better than you, and maintaining your privacy is one of the best ways to honor that wisdom. Thank you for watching, and remember, sometimes the greatest strength comes from knowing when to keep certain things to yourself. Keep your peace, keep your boundaries, and keep living life the way you want to.